And welcome to the Lakers Pulse podcast. I am your host at Not Famous Nelson on Twitter. And with me today, I have returning guest Merge. What's up, Merge?
What's going on?
So the Lakers just played in a fun game against the Hornets, which is something that we haven't said all that often this year, but more than last year for sure. The Lakers hung in there with the Hornets all the way until the last minute. D'Angelo had a couple late threes that allowed the Lakers to stay in the game. Randall had a really impressive stat line that I'm sure Merge is gushing over and that he's holding it in, but he's really into Randall, and I'm sure that he's just dying to talk about Randall and Randall about it for 20 minutes. So go ahead, Merge.
Julius Randle, hold on, let me get a sideline going. He had his best game in a while today. He's been struggling as of late, but he came up like right out of the gate. He was, getting steals. He was getting rebound, passing the ball, doing his stop and curl pass thing that he likes to do on transition. He was finding D'Angelo and Nick to a certain extent, even though he was missing some. And he when he plays like that, he is really good, but he doesn't play like that consistent enough. He had 23 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, which is ridiculous. He played some pretty solid defense. He had a couple of mental lapses, but for the most part, Frank Kaminsky. Frank had 24. Never mind. I was gonna say Frank had 24 points. He was playing center, so I guess he wasn't guarding him. I think Marvin Williams was the guy Julius was on. He had 16, and then Zeller had 6. Yeah, he was impressive. This might have been his most impressive game this year. I know he's had a couple of triple double games, but this game he had he was flirting with a triple double. He was making plays on defense, blocking shots, getting steals. He only had 1 turnover, which is very big for Julius. Sometimes he gets out of control when he is in transition and he's dribbling down the court. But this is the guy. Like I know he can be at least a borderline all-star in the league when he is on, when he is good.
Yeah.
It's just consistency. He just needs to. I think getting rid of. I don't know why. Just like leaving, it has lifted like something off of the Lakers, and I think people like people like D'Angelo and Julius are recognizing, hey, let's make the most of this, and let's just be aggressive and share the ball. So I Julius has stepped up a lot, and it's really encouraging to see him, play well right now. And again, stat lines like these are just stuff I can see him averaging, and when he's at his peak, not really averaging. This is kind of a crazy stat line, but like 16 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that when he's at his best, like a kind of a poor man's Draymond Green, which is not a slander at Julius at all. Draymond Green's one of my favorite players, and he's arguably a top 10 player in this league, and he's an all-star. He probably will be for the next 5+ years. But Julius still has some of his issues defensively, which is fine, and he can still get better at that. I mean, he's only 22, and there's no need to really give up on him. Like I've seen that some people just like completely crush him when he makes a dumb play, and he's not the smartest. He doesn't have the highest basketball IQ, but he's athletic. He makes the right read most of the time. They're mostly on transition, but he's definitely. I can see him being a third, fourth best player on a championship team, and just being that Draymond type glue guy for this young squad in the next 5+ years.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna throw a bunch of fancy, smashy stats that the Lakers put up today. The Lakers were their offensive rating was 119 when D'Angelo was on the court, and off the court it was 65. And Julius had a 116 when he was on the court, and then off the court it was 80.9. So yeah, they were just crazy good today. Nwaba had a had a crazy good net rating at 20. He only played 5 minutes, but he showed some flashes on defense and just cutting and slashing, and he did some things like if you want to tear apart a 10-day contract guy, I mean, be my guest, but like you shouldn't expect much in the first place. Like there's a reason why he's playing in the D League, but he was obviously a really promising call up, and he played 5 minutes today, which isn't nearly enough to take a good sample size from. But he still did stuff. It wasn't like
Yeah,
he like totally disappeared from the court. And
yeah,
D'Angelo had another great game. I think that he's probably the guy that everyone talks about Randall, his stat line, how good he played today. But I think I think D'Angelo really had a really good game.
yeah. He had 9 assists in 3 quarters. He kind of came in a little bit later than I wanted him to, but that's fine. He played a lot of the. I think he played the whole third quarter. So I mean, I'm fine with him coming in around 6 minutes at that point. He played 36 minutes today, which is great.
Yeah.
Ingram actually led the team in minutes with 42.
Which is crazy for a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, since Dang didn't play at all, wow, Dang and Mozgov were the two that didn't play at all, and the rest of the guys played at least 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
Corey Brewer got some run in this game too. Like a
Yeah,
lot of
Corey
good
had
run.
11, 11 minutes. I think with Nuwaba, he was in a weird lineup, and I didn't really like the lineup fit for him because having Corey Brewer out there with him just made the spacing really, really bad. I mean, the only shooter they really had was maybe Nick Young or Ingram. I forgot who was out there with him, but when Nuwaba was out there, Brewer was out there with him. And I didn't really like that just because of the spacing issues. I kind of wanted Nuwaba to end the game just for defensive purposes, and he seemed to make an impact on that end when I mean, he was guarding Brian Roberts, but he made Brian Roberts literally a non-factor. He wasn't even touching the ball, and when he did, he forced a steal by Clarkson. I think we need to just give. I think we should just give him Brewers minutes. Honestly, give him
All of them?
maybe not all of them, but like I want him to play with D'Angelo because I saw him. He tried to backdoor cut a couple times, and Clarkson, who also had a good game today, he just can't really see it sometimes. When he does, it's too late. And Nwaba is good at that, and he didn't really get a chance to show his offensive skill set, which is really just slashing. But he had that one floater thing he tried to do, and it was bad. But again, it was kind of a spacing thing. There was a bunch of guys in the paint.
Yeah.
But I want to see him play with D'Angelo because D'Angelo will find him on those backdoor cuts and like put him out there with like try a small ball lineup with D'Angelo and Nick or Jordan and Nuwaba, Ingram and Randall. I think just give that a bunch of athleticism, a bunch of just energy and just like and with Nuwaba in there, it makes their defense a little bit better as well. I doubt we'll see that type of lineup, but I mean, I think he has potential to be something, and I just want to see him get minutes.
All right. So Larry Nance had a 77.7 offensive rating when he was on the court, and off the court it was 124.4 for the Lakers.
They had a bad game.
Yeah. Are you worried about his offense at all at this point?
I think he's better out there when he is with the starting lineup minus Tart Black. He didn't get Tart Black had a really good game today. So like and when they were running a small ball lineup, they had Nick out there, or they had Jordan Clarkson out there with Nick and Ingram and Randall and D'Angelo, obviously. So Larry didn't really get that much time with his group that he's normally good with. He didn't have a good game today, but it just gives him more opportunity when he has D'Angelo out there, just because he gets like a chance to shoot a mid-range jumper or attack the basket or something. I mean, there is some worry that he just won't be that type of player who's aggressive, and he'll try to be aggressive. He just seems like a guy that just tries to make the defensive plays, and he tries to just get out of the way of the main guys. But
Mhm.
I think if he can get a jumper, and I think he has a 3-point shot. He just doesn't try it really. Um, but he can become one of the better bench players in the league if he can do that, and he can be a guy that can give spot minutes to end the game. And I think he can be a lot better than what he's shown, but he isn't really being aggressive, and I think that opens up a lot of it for him.
Mm. Excuse me. Do you think that Zubac playing only 8 minutes today is a problem, or do you think that it's fine that he played so little minutes because of the small ball and still running?
Yeah, it was really just a small ball thing. Kaminsky was stretching him outside, and it was just causing problems. He isn't he isn't that athletic, so it's kind of hard for him to run out there and defend a Kaminsky or Kaminsky or something like that. So it was just bad matchup for him today. He just had a bad game. Oh no, I saw he shot a three, but I forgot he heaved a full court shot. That's what it was. And he was missing some easy ones that he normally makes, but just one bad game for Zubac. He's been very consistent since he started getting consistent playing time. So no worries with Zubac. Just small ball.
Yeah. Dang and Maz haven't been playing a lot recently, and this game didn't play at all. Do you think that's just for the season thing, and next year they'll probably get some more run time, or do you think that they're probably gonna like try to shop them heavily and try to do whatever they can to dump the salaries, or how do you think that Lakers are gonna handle Dang and Maz going forward?
I think Mozgov is probably untradeable in a sense that no one's gonna want to take that contract on unless we give up like Jordan Clarkson with it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dang is a little more movable because I think he still can contribute to a playoff team or at least a contending team or a playoff team. Like Lakers can't like buy him out like a lot of teams seem to be doing with their vets, but I think he has value on a team like let's say the Raptors or something like that, or like the the Spurs. He's definitely a Spurs type player. I can definitely see him there, but he still has a little more in the tank, and I think he still can contribute just because he's still solid on defense. But um, I think Lakers are going to try to move him. It's going to be hard to, unless they attach an asset to one of them. But like I said before, Deng is the more movable contract of the two. I think
Yeah.
Mozgov is just he's going to be here until the Lakers are able to buy him out or they're able to stretch him or waive him or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a huge burden on the Lakers, especially with their free agency plans going forward. We weren't exactly hoping that a star would land in Los Angeles. I think that's probably how Jim and Mitch made the moves, or they're just trying to sabotage Magic because he was going to come. Either way, I think that that they're going to for sure need to attach an asset, either if that's Clarkson, Zubac, or something like that. Just dump that salary. I think that the Nets are possible, but I don't even know if they're even though they're huge spenders, I don't know if they want to take that on. I think that if we keep the pick, especially at the number 3 slot, you can start thinking about a dump that way. Probably not though. You probably hope to keep the pick and draft someone just because um, the pick's much more valuable than dumping two bad contracts that they should have signed in the first place. And yeah, I mean, you hope that they can find a way to get out of those contracts, and hopefully, Maz in his third year, like waive him or stretch him, something like that, and then do the same thing with Dang, find a way to get rid of him or buy him out, or give him a shot on another team. But I think that by the time that they're available for a buyout, something like that they're going to be too old to contribute really. They're probably just going to be like ring chasing. Shout out to David West. Um, so the Lakers lost again today, which is great for the tank, obviously. The Lakers are neck and neck with the Suns, half a game back of the Suns, and So so the Lakers are going to keep losing, keep pace. I think they're safely in the top 30 now. I think that they're just not good enough to win games. They're good enough to make noise but not win games. So Merch, you think that the Lakers are we constantly talk about like how good of a shot the Lakers have to keep picking. Obviously we don't know yet. But do you think that the Lakers are pretty safe right now as far as the tank effort goes?
I think we're gonna be a bottom three team. Even though the Sixers traded away or have hurt the best players, are either traded away or hurt. But they still are winning games, which I don't understand how. I mean, Dario Saric has been really good for them. Besides them, the Kings have been okay. They haven't been as much of a garbage fire as I thought they were gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're gonna be bottom three. It's just gonna be all about the luck of you know the luck of us keeping the pick, and Lakers have been super lucky keeping their pick. I have hope. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. We like to look at all these prospects and stuff, but I don't want to get my hopes up because we've been lucky 3 years or not only 2 years in a row. And to get this would be huge for us. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people say if we don't get it, it's gonna set the team back for a couple of years, which I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I mean, like D'Angelo could next year just pop off and be a star. Like he can be an all-star next year, and we don't know that. Like if that happens, then we're in a good position still, and then then maybe we end up getting Paul George in the free agency after that, and you have two stars in your team, and then Julius and Ingram. Like I don't. I think that people are kind of putting way too much on this pick, and like it's huge. And if we keep it, it'll be huge, and like we could get Fultz or whatever, or we can trade for someone. It'll be huge for the Lakers, but if we lose it, it's not going to be the world is over, the sky is falling, or anything like that. But I think they're gonna end in the bottom three. I keep wanting freaking Devin Booker to win the Suns games, but I guess he's just not as good as D'Angelo. I mean, even though D'Angelo's not winning us games, but everyone says Booker is way better than D'Angelo, so he should be winning them some games. They've been losing a lot of close games recently, the Suns. So hopefully they can start winning games and we can stay the way we've been. Maybe win a couple more. I don't want to be at 19, but when it gets like 25 or something, and I think we'll be bottom two, bottom three. Hopefully we keep the pick, and then if we do keep the pick, and then the stressful experience will happen over again, because if we don't get the number one pick, there's going to be a lot of debate and in a lot of different aspects of the Lakers. Should we trade the pick? Should we draft Lonzo Ball, Josh Jackson? And that's going to divide a lot of Laker fans if that happens. But I'd much rather be in that predicament than be, not having a pick.
Yeah. I as much as I want to believe that the Lakers fans for the most part are smart and they're gonna see that Fultz is a better prospect. Oh, you know what? I'll say that for a little bit later. I don't think that this pick is like do or die, right? I don't think that like the whole rebuild's focused on this pick, but I think it's just insurance because um, although we see flashes and we see how good these players can be, like D'Angelo's not a sure bet to be a superstar. He has that kind of potential, and the odds are he will be. But this is also a probability that he won't be, right? And with Ingram too, like what if his shot never develops? Like we're hoping that develops, and we're optimistic, and all the data and the results and last year in college they showed that it will improve. But if it doesn't, and if it's not to the point where it needs to be, then that limits the ceiling. Or if Julius never develops the right hand, shout out to Magic Johnson. If Julius if he just stays the same, which again he's too young to stay the same, but if he never takes the big leap that the Lakers fans want. It just by insurance. Like even if it's Josh Jackson, like Josh Jackson is going to be a contributor to a championship team for sure, a legit starting player on a championship team. Um, and Lonzo Ball can be a really good player. I guess Dennis Smith can be a beast. But again, even with those players, it's not 100%. And with that, I will beautifully segue into our final topic of today. I wrote a banger on Lakers Pulse about Lonzo Ball and the issues that the Lakers will have if they draft him. Um, One being pretty known by the media just because he does so many interviews, and then the other ones that people don't really notice, don't really consider, and they just see, oh yeah, Lonzo Ball, look at the stats and the assists, look how great a college player he is, and look at how good he is, and then you take a step back from that, and then you realize, hey, he has some flaws that this might not translate, and as much as one person, one big Twitter guy likes to admit it, talk about Lonzo's footwork and how good he is at taking players' contact and how much of a better defender and how much more defensive potential he has than Fultz. As much as he wants to say that, Fultz is a much better prospect. And if Lakers get one, I will strangle whoever chose Fultz over Ball. But merge, since you guys can already check out all my thoughts on Lonzo Ball, what are your thoughts on Lonzo going to the Lakers?
So, I've known Lonzo. I've known of him for a good 3 years. My high school played against him 2 times a year. Same league, and I saw Lonzo a lot before he went to UCLA. It honestly, it's not even him why I don't want him on the Lakers. It's his freaking dad. And I it sounds weird to say, but I don't want his dad like saying stuff. And I mean it might, and it could cause, friction in the locker room and stuff like that. And Ball is a fine player. He can be a star in the NBA. He has a lot of things to work on, and if he can, get those down, he's going to be really good in the NBA. But for his dad to say, "Oh, he's already better than Steph Curry," and put him on the Warriors and put Steph on UCLA, and Lonzo's only going to play for the Lakers, and I'm going to talk it into existence of him going to the Lakers and all this stuff that he's saying. I think it might, eventually hurt Ball or Lonzo. But it also seems like a lot of Laker fans are eating it up and, making them want Lonzo more, which I don't know how that's possible, but as a prospect, he's definitely he's a top 5 prospect. He's he's a really, really good passer. He might be one of the best passers that we've had in a few years. He's a good rebounder for a point guard. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. That's really good size for a, or not even 6'9", I think 6'8". That's really good size for a point guard in the NBA. He has the instincts to be at least average on defense, but we don't know how good he is, vertically, and if he can stay with guards in the NBA. I mean, when he played NBA caliber players, he got torched. I mean, De'Aaron Fox torched him. Even though Washington lost by about 40, Markel put up almost 30 points on Lonzo. He isn't a perfect prospect, and he's not like offensively, he might be a good fit for the Lakers. Him and D'Angelo together would increase a lot of playmaking for Lakers, and if Lonzo's shot translate, it would help D'Angelo on his kickouts that he likes to do and cross court passes that he always seems to land, but the Lakers never capitalize on him. but defensively, I mean, Lakers are already the 29th in defensive efficiency. There's no reason to add another guy who is an average defender. I mean, the Lakers need a guy at the 2 who will make up for some of D'Angelo's mistakes and make up for the stuff that D'Angelo isn't necessarily good at. That's why someone like a Markelle Fultz, who I mean, his defense isn't looking incredible at Washington, but he has the skills and he has the tools, and a near 6'10" wingspan, and he's 6'4", and he is one of the most athletic players in the draft. He can do all this stuff, and then Josh Jackson, who might be the best defender in the draft, could provide a lot more defense. It's just I'm not gonna absolutely be super. I'm not gonna not be a Laker fan anymore if Lakers get Lonzo.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo's better than nothing, but I think if you pass up on a Fultz or a Josh Jackson to take Lonzo, I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, I think that's gonna hurt because you're gonna pass up on two really. I mean, out of all things, playmaking and athleticism translates, right?
Yeah.
And those things translate immediately. And guess who has both of those things? I think that's Josh Jackson last time I checked. And
Yep.
Fultz Ball just doesn't have the athleticism just to be that elite of a point guard, in my opinion. And he's an above average athlete. He's quick in transition. He's quick. He's not quick with his feet laterally. He's really bad in pick and rolls and the few situations where he's had to play man, and that's not ideal for the Lakers, who already have an average to possibly below average defender in D'Angelo Russell, and they would have to be better than what they're projected at. Like, they have to be better defenders. And if you believe in that, then sure, then argue away. But I'm not sold on Lonzo. I mean, you could say what you want about Lonzo. I mean, he was definitely selling crowds in Staples Center.
Oh yeah, he's the best. He is the
Yeah.
absolute best PR pick in this draft. Hands down, not even close. He's the best.
I mean, he went to UCLA, tore it up. The Chino Hills tore it up. He's just dominated LA basketball, apart from the Lakers. And I think that narrative would be really strong. And you put him on the season tickets, and people rush out and buy him. Like that. That's not even an argument. But that's not what it's about. It's not about narratives. It's not about tickets. It's not about media. It's not about coverage. It's not about PR. It's not about none of that. It's about drafting the best player for your team, or drafting the best player in general. And Ball isn't even the best player. He isn't even better than Josh Jackson. He's not better than Dennis Smith Jr. He's not better than Jonathan Isaac. After that, then you can make arguments. But I think that, or you can even argue Jonathan Isaac if you want to, just as a better player in general, if you want to.
Wait, you already said Isaac. Did you mean Tatum?
No, Isaac.
Oh, I thought I already said. Never mind.
Yeah, because I know that people don't watch a lot of Isaac, and maybe they're not as old on him as I am. So I can see where you're coming from with that. I could even see Tatum being over Ball, or vice versa. Like, this draft after 1 and possibly 2, in my opinion, I think it's pretty wide open as far as best players in the draft goes. And if the Lakers are picking at 1 and 2, and they don't draft the 2 best guys, then there's a problem. I trust that the front office and that the drafting scouts and everyone, that the Lakers make the right choice, and I'm not going to doubt them. But if Ball's chosen, then you gotta start questioning why they would. And obviously, we're probably the lowest guys in Lonzo Ball. I'm sure there's probably smarter people out there that are a little bit higher on him, which is fine. I just don't view him on the same tier as Markelle Fultz. And as much as Lonzo is better than nothing, and if you pick him at number 3, I wouldn't be too mad, because then Josh Jackson's spot.
Yeah, at number 3, he's if it's number 3 and Fultz and Jackson are both gone, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's not a terrible pick. Although there will still be issues in the backcourt and how all that works, but
yeah,
at that point you could sort it out if you're drafting what you think is the best guy, and the other 2 guys are gone. So I wouldn't be too against that. So if you want to read more of my thoughts on Lonzo Ball, be sure to go to LakersPulse.com. I have my article up there. You can go check it out. Merch doesn't write anything because he's lazy again, and he really doesn't do anything except laugh and rant about Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell. So you can follow him on Twitter. I won't give him a plug because he hasn't deserved that today. He may roll out of bed and do this podcast. So
Don't get
get some
mad
merch.
that I stole your draft thunder on.
Hey, back off, buddy. All right, I've been the draft guy for over a year. I like his pulse. All right, so back off.
That was all Jamie. Jamie told me that he was gonna at me. Hey, I was just I was just following orders. Okay.
Yeah, hey, you better watch off my throne, all right? You better not come for it, or else I'm watching you merge. All right, so this will do it for the Lakers Post podcast for today. We'll probably do one after Friday's game against the Celtics. Go Lakers, and yeah.